Phil Mickelson. This news just came down from the New York Post in the last few minutes. Phil Mickelson is going to join the LIV Tour. This is the Saudi Arabian Golf Tour, which is starting this weekend on Thursday in London. Dustin Johnson has joined it. Sergio Garcia, a bunch of different PGA players. And I read a big piece in the Washington Post, I believe it was, about Greg Norman, the Shark, and he's heading it up as the individual who is in charge of it. He said that Tiger Woods, by the way, turned down a high 9-figure guarantee to be willing to be affiliated with the LIV Tour. And this is a big battle now between the PGA and the LIV Tour. And the argument that Greg Norman is making is that golfers deserve the right to be free agents and go and sell their labor to the highest bidder as opposed to all being restricted to the PGA Tour. And this Saudi Arabian upstart is starting to sign some fairly talented players. And so here's what I would say in general. I think it's crazy that Phil Mickelson got more criticized for discussing joining this Saudi tour than Joe Biden is getting criticized for traveling to Saudi Arabia to try and get them to pump more oil and gas so that our prices will come back down in the United States. In other words, my position's pretty straightforward. If you want to claim to be a woke corporation in the United States, you should live up to those values around the world. And if you claim to be a woke person in the United States, you should live up to those values around the world. But if you simply say, hey, I'm a businessman, and I am going to try to maximize my revenue and my profit all around the world, and sometimes that might mean that I do business with countries that have values that are different than those that exist in the United States, so long as you are doing so in a legal manner, I have no issues with that at all. What I have issues with is when you lecture us about how awful American institutions and American values are, and then you say nothing at all about other countries while pocketing tons of money. So I have no issue with Phil Mickelson going to Saudi Arabia. I don't have an issue with Phil Mickelson going to Saudi Arabia because, to my knowledge, he's never lectured me about his politics. If the NBA hadn't pulled the All-Star game out of Charlotte, North Carolina over a transgender bathroom bill, I would have no issue with them going to the United Arab Emirates or to China. But when you lecture me about having woke politics and how you won't stand for things to exist like this in the United States, but then you won't say a word, looking at you, LeBron James, about basic human rights being disrespected in many of the countries in which you are making money, then you are a hypocrite, okay? So I think if you're going to criticize anyone in terms of Saudi Arabia, it would be Joe Biden, because he said he was not going to interact with Saudi Arabia because, in his opinion, Saudi Arabia is a pariah state. And then you simultaneously are, as soon as you need something, going off to Saudi Arabia and begging for their help. So I have no issue with Greg Norman. I have no issue with Dustin Johnson. I have no issue with Phil Mickelson or any of Sergio Garcia, any other, Graham McDowell, any other of these top golfers, looking at their available options on the table and picking the one that makes the most sense for they and their family from an economic perspective. Moreover, and I think Charles Barkley was the first person to say it, almost everybody goes wherever they get more money. That's how capitalism works. Charles Barkley said that a lot of athletes always want to say, oh, I'm going to pray on it, and then I'm going to go wherever God tells me I should go. And then his perspective is, hey, it's amazing how often God tells those athletes to go to whoever offers them the most money. Our first guy I remember saying this was Reggie White, who was a legitimate reverend, great defensive end, ended up going to the Green Bay Packers as a free agent, and he said God was going to lead him to the right choice. God led him to take the most money. That's fine, but I don't have any problem with anybody. Athletes, radio show hosts, television show hosts, plumbers, anybody who's employed out there, lawn care people, doctors, engineers, lawyers, Make whatever decisions you think can maximize your overall revenue and profit for your family. And if the Live Tour is willing to guarantee way more money to professional golfers than the PGA Tour is, well, why in the world wouldn't you consider it? It's not like the PGA is perfect. And if I could make more money from going to a different organization, that's what I would do. Almost all of you out there listening to me right now, if you got a substantially more job offer from another company in order to do the same job, most of you would leave too. So I don't begrudge anybody making this choice, and I don't begrudge any company that makes this choice. What I think is infuriating is when those companies lecture us about how woke they are in the United States, and then they turn a blind eye to all woke-related issues in another country. So I think the Live Tour is going to give a real run to the PGA Tour, and I don't have a problem with the fact that the Live Tour is being funded by Saudi Arabian interests, just like, by the way, I don't have a problem with Saudi Arabian interests buying into team ownership in, let's say, the English Premier League. What I have an issue with is hypocrisy. If somebody values your labor more than somebody else, to me, you should take the opportunity to go to the place that offers you the most possible money.